What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to NerdWide Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Haynes, with my favorite co-host, Mr. Chris Rivers. How are you, sir?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Doing well. It's been a chaotic week. I had a family injury earlier in the week, getting better now,
Oh
and
no.
then my oldest child's birthday was yesterday, so it's been a non-stop chaotic weekend. Didn't know if I was gonna be able to watch the movie this week, but we did, and we watched it maybe 30, 45 minutes ago, and boy, do I have some thoughts on that, and I can't wait to get into that one
Mm.
because future spoilers, did not really like that movie, but we'll get there. How about you, sir?
Um, yeah, kind of a calm week, which is kind of weird. Makes me worry about this next week, you know.
Calm before the
Uh,
storm.
yeah, but I I really wasn't able to watch much during the week, so I ended up binging everything yesterday and last night.
That does not sound like a bad thing
So
to me, though.
hopefully I keep everything straight.
Yeah. So it's gonna be fun. We'll get there. But everyone, this is NerdWide Podcast, episode 42. Don't forget to subscribe to either our YouTube or podcasting service of your choice. If you enjoy the show, make sure you leave us a thumbs up on YouTube or give us a good rating on any podcasting app that you do use. If you don't enjoy what you see or hear, make sure you leave us a comment and let us know how we can improve. Can't improve if you don't let us know how to. If you want to do more, if subscribing is not enough, if following is not enough, you can always go to patreon.com/nerdwide. Toss us a couple bucks that way for a couple different perks if you want to go that way. But Chris, I got to say, we're getting into TV news here, or TV section. I want to let you know. I know last week I said I was going to try and watch Doom Patrol, but it hadn't really sunk its teeth into me yet. Well, I'm going to let you know I'm on season 2, episode 2. I watched a
Hmm.
lot of episodes this week because I finally hit the point, I think it was episode 9 or episode 10 of the first season, that it finally grabbed me and I actually care about these characters now. And it's funny
Yeah.
because Mr. Nobody even says it like in episode 13 or 14. He says, now that we're all over the team building nonsense, he said a lot of other colorful words. He said, let's get into the actual plot of the show, of the superhero show you came to watch. And I love the fourth wall breaking of that. Season 2 is starting off good. I'm curious to see where we go with this because we've got a certain character's daughter is involved in the show now. So I'm
Mhm.
curious to see how we go from there. I am trying my best to stay away from season 3 spoilers, but it's hard to do when HBO Max is plastering it on the app right when you log in, and when it clearly sees
Yeah.
I'm in season 2. So let's try to keep it calm here. But I'm really enjoying it, and I'm right there with you. You've told me once that it feels like a more mature Legends of Tomorrow, and I am 100% right there with you. And I care about all these characters now, and like their power development and story development with them. And I'm glad that we're kind of done with the past of everybody, and we're kind of moving
Yeah.
forward. I think though my favorite character out of all of them right now is Larry. He might be my favorite.
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah.
funny.
It's it's a little tough for me to pick a favorite, but yeah, Larry's up there for
He's
sure.
intriguing because I just want to know. I want him and his little negative spirit or whatever you call it. I want them to communicate, and that's just my biggest thing. Find a way. I know they did sticky notes in season 1, kinda, but I need you guys to talk. Like have a man to man and just talk. But that would clear up a lot of things instead of showing memories. But
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
have you been watching anything else? I know you did a bunch of binging yesterday.
I did. So I watched some of the procedurals on like CBS and stuff. So I watched NCIS's premiere. It was really good. Uh, a quick comment about one of their new shows, NCIS Hawaii.
Oh,
Right? They canceled NCIS New Orleans and they started up NCIS Hawaii. This show is one episode in, and it has not gone over well with the community.
oh, really?
People are leaving feedback on different sites for CBS, saying things like, "Is this what you canceled NCIS New Orleans for?" Um,
Yeesh.
some people have put up stuff like, "You might want to create a slightly larger budget to hire an acting coach for these actors." Uh, the they're commenting on there not being any chemistry. The show feels flat. I, after watching the pilot, I'll say this: it very much has the feel of, in terms of atmosphere, which it should because it's in Hawaii, of like a Hawaii Five-O.
Hmm.
It doesn't have the pacing of any of those successful shows.
Oh, that's
It's
not good
just
for a pilot
kind
episode.
of no, it's very slow. The there's nothing that really appeals about the characters. There's nothing that sets them apart from one another that much. Um, and I just don't see it lasting.
Oh,
I think they I think they really screwed the pooch here.
now they're still doing like Vegas and stuff like that, right? Or are they doing? Or is
Uh,
CSI Vegas is what it is, the new one.
yeah, but it's actually coming back.
Mm.
So
Because they did a little advertisement on Big Brother's the only way I know about that one. So
yeah, yeah,
that Horatio is
that'll
all I
probably
know.
be good.
Yeah, I can see that.
That'll probably.
So Chris, let's get.
But that's the only new stuff I watched.
And we didn't even. I know I said it before the show started recording. I haven't. We haven't even watched our weekly stuff at all because of how busy we've
Mm.
been. Like I've heard Ted
I
Lasso's episode is absolutely out of the park. Bachelor in Paradise. I'm jonesing to watch another episode of it. And Big Brother ends this Wednesday, and we are, as of tonight, we'll be 3 episodes behind. So I'm dodging spoilers again, just trying because I don't want to know
now
who leaves. I want to know who I want to watch it.
I know that you're still getting caught up on Doom Patrol, but I did watch they dropped the first 3 episodes this week,
Oh,
so I did watch those.
we'll get your
Um,
take of those.
so um, but yeah, outside of that, it was just our normal stuff.
It's so good. I've been seeing a lot of people watching Superman and Lois on HBO. So I've seen it getting a lot of traction on there. People have been commenting on Twitter, so which is great. So maybe
Yeah.
they'll come back season two stronger. That's just me though, or no breaks. But Chris, let's get right into it. Spoilers tag is up, not for Superman and Lois, but for What If, and this one is What If Thor was an only child. Now, I want to know what your thoughts on this one, just right off the bat.
Um, right off the rip, uh, it was very cool hearing Kat Dennings
Yep.
voicing Darcy. Um, but I don't know. It had a lightheartedness to it that I felt was needed after some of the previous episodes were either serious or, had people kind of down because of Chadwick Boseman's last voiceovers.
Right.
Um, so it was actually for me kind of like a nice breath of fresh air, to just have kind of a lighthearted what if
Mm-hmm.
that didn't really you weren't on the edge of your seat. You were just kind of enjoying it.
It's just to me, it was like just a fun ride. It was just
Yeah.
something to have fun with. I mean, everybody was back for this one. Chris Hemsworth, Natalie Portman was even here. Kat Dennings, like you said, even Jeff Goldblum had his couple lines in there. Clark Gregg was back. Taika Waititi, Jamie Alexander, Seth Green, Karen Gillan. I mean, everybody was back for this. And I just thought it was fun. Like I feel like Natalie Portman's character wasn't really, or Jane Foster wasn't really herself. Like she was, I don't know, kind of ditzy a little bit to an extent. But then they did the whole, I'm gonna call your mom on you kind of scenario, and I was like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty funny. So I thought it was good. Because these past couple of weeks I just haven't been really into What If or really
Mm.
enjoying it. But this one I actually did enjoy it just because it was just funny and just kind of what I expected this What If show to be. Just something random, absolutely random.
Do do you like that they kind of keep it uh, hidden what the next episode's going to be? Or I
Yeah,
would almost rather them just release the schedule and say, here's when these episodes air.
what I've heard
But
is these next we've only got 2 episodes left. is that these next 2 weeks will be connected to each other because it's the Avengers that we've been building up. Like, because we've seen in the trailers where they're all teaming up. You've got Chadwick Boseman, Star Lord, teaming up with Captain Carter, and like if you go back and watch the old trailers, you see them teaming up. And so I'm pretty sure what happened at the end of this episode with Vision slash Ultron with all the Infinity Stones, I think that's what starts it off, because the Watcher said, "Wait, this isn't supposed to happen," and then the episode ended. So I don't know if maybe he was just saying that, or if that's really a what if thing, like with the Watcher. So we'll see. I mean, that's just how I interpreted it. But
Right.
so I'm ready for them to kind of connect together, but like I don't like the teases at the end, like the Thanos one with for the zombies, where he was just that was it, or the end of this one, like it was very lighthearted, and then Vision slash Ultron comes down with all the stones. I'm like, that would be cool to watch and see, but so we'll see. I'm gonna hold out my judgment on that one.
Yeah.
And then let me click off of that one. Our next show was Titans, Chris, and finally, it has happened. We've got Donna Troy back, we've got Raven back, and this one we had Tim Drake, more predominant character in this one as well. But Alan Richson, duet.
We got Hawk back.
Yeah, so this was his official last episode. And like he did a whole Instagram takeover of the Titans account. This was his last episode. He could potentially come back, he said. He said, but the understanding is he's not coming back, and this was it for him. This was kind of supposed to be his sign-off for it. Although I felt like it would have been a little bit better of a sign-off if at the end, of course, all these shows were spoiler-filled, that if his best friend, they would have walked to the light or back on the train together and kind of been done with it. But that's how they kept it open for him coming back. But my whole thing was like, these other people have bodies they could go back to. He's trying to go back, and he's plastered all over the wall somewhere.
He's a meat puzzle.
Right. And I enjoyed this episode. I felt like Tim Drake's, the actor, we got a lot more from him. We saw a lot more of his range of acting. I really enjoyed that. I, of course, really enjoyed having Donna Troy and Raven back. I mean, we've been waiting all season for them, and now we've got 3 episodes. No, we got a couple more episodes left, and they're back.
Yeah. This was a really fun episode. I love the scene where Donna's trying to convince Tim that he can do this, right? He can, and she says, "You jumped over that gap in the bridge," and I'm thinking he only made it like halfway.
Yeah, he was about to fall straight through it.
Yeah, he was. So that's not anything to praise the guy over.
Right.
I did like the afterlife setup though. I thought that was
really
cool.
liked that. Like with the black and white, it was very well shot.
It was, yeah, and you see Bruce attempt suicide. Donna saves him.
What was up with that? How did she know?
I don't know.
I'm sure it'll be played in next week's episode, but
yeah. We don't see a lot of the other team. This was sort of a side episode, if you will, and I like the fact that they left it open for Hawk to come back, in a sense, but like you said, he has no body to come back to.
Yeah.
So
I don't.
How would they do this?
Yeah.
It is kind of cool though that they, if nothing else, he can come back and interact with someone else when they are close to death.
Help him move on or something like that.
Yeah. And I do like the fact that, in a sense, that they didn't bring him back, because that's kind of the issue with comic-related shows, because everybody says, well, they always find a way to bring him back.
Yeah, death is not final.
And yeah, in this case, 2 of them managed to come back, but 1 couldn't. So gives you that there are stakes, uh, even though the majority of people they will find a way to bring back. So
I I think with this one, what did you think about the CGI with Raven this season? I mean, Jamie was watching it with me. I said they have from season 1 to season 2 was better. From season 2 to season 3 it was even better to me. Like it looked more
yeah,
realistic than like the purpley gummy stuff that they've been using. And I really liked the training scenes with her. I thought that the I think her name was Cynthia maybe, whatever the older lady was that was training with her with that little stone structure. I'm pretty sure that was about to be like Wonder Woman's mom or something like that because she said my daughter was just like you. And I was like, oh,
but then she said she's dead.
yeah. So I was like, okay, well that's not her then. And I just thought that was kind of cool little scenes, and I'm just ready for them to link back up. And I think next week we're about to get it because Donna Troy's back, baby. I was so excited to see her on that train. I think someone hinted at it on Twitter. Because again, I try to dodge spoilers, but when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I'm ready for her to be back. But then Alan because I follow him on Instagram, and he was saying that this was his last episode, and he could come back if they wrote into it, but this is meant to be his last one as Hawk and Hank. And I was like, I love it when
Mhm.
like Tim Drake just calls them out, and he says, "Wait, I'm remembering things now. Wait, you're Hank Hall, and you're Donna Troy," because he calls her Miss Troy at first, and she was like, well, "How do you know that?"
Well, well, first he calls her ma'am.
Right,
She's like,
she was not happy about that because he said 30, and she had that all over her face. Oh man, I love this show. I say that every week. But Chris,
but yeah, huh?
y'all go ahead.
No, I was gonna reiterate that this is a really enjoyable show week to week. I mean, they don't have misses really.
Mm-mm.
So
I this season, I mean, we're 9 episodes
fun to
in.
watch.
I don't think we've had a miss, and like, there's none
No.
that I could think of. I mean, even when we've covered it on the show, I don't think we've talked about a miss yet. And
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
curious. I want to hear before we get into your overall thoughts of the first 3 episodes because I'm gonna take my headphones out. You'll wave at me, let me know when to come back. But I want to hear. I'm gonna leave. I'll leave the spoilers tag up. But what do you think that Doom Patrol had the same thing that Titans did from jumping from season 2 to season 3 with that HBO Max money, or can you tell anything at all yet?
Yeah, I think so. Uh, it does look like there's a little bit of a difference from a money perspective, from a budget perspective. Um, and that's a good thing because that's a show especially that needs
You
effects.
have to. Like even for season 1, like it was big on effects, especially with Cyborg, and I mean season 2 they were shrunken. Now they're bigger now, but
I I do want to ask you real quick, right? Which cyborg do you prefer? The Doom Patrol cyborg or the Justice League cyborg?
from DCEU,
Yeah,
I think I like this Doom Patrol cyborg better because he's
yeah,
more relatable, I guess. And I feel like
yeah.
he's not so much robot. And his character development from season 1, like halfway through season 1 to the end of it, I really enjoyed his arc that Mr. Nobody was doing for him. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, we could spoil it because we've talked about, but like him beating his dad almost to death. I was like, I
Yeah.
mean, that was brutal. I mean, but in the same scene you had, well, the scene before was the butts were loose. The butts are loose, and they're eating everybody. And then you go straight to that scene where he's beating his dad, and I was like, I mean, this. I mean, it's like we said, like a mature Legends of Tomorrow,
Yeah,
and
because it's got that goofiness.
right, but it's also very serious. And but man, I'm really enjoying like it. It got my hooks in me. Like, I sent you the picture that Beard Eater was watching TV or something. His mom asked him to go do something, and she said, "I can't. I'm watching This Is Us," and he says, "F This Is Us." And I sent you that. I rewinded it and sent that to you. I said this is the main reason you want me to watch this show. But oh man, all right, I enjoyed it. All right, wave to me when you're ready. Just kind of general overview, and once I should be with Doom Patrol. I don't know how many episodes are in season 2, but if anything, I should be caught up. If not this week, then next week for sure. Because I think season 1 had 15 episodes, and that's all I've been watching while working.
Yeah.
So okay, and I'll be right back, Chris. It's all you.
All right. Now, Doom Patrol season 3, episodes 1 through 3. Guys, let me tell you, this might be the best start to a season so far. Um, uh, like I just said, the effects are even better. Um, you can certainly tell that they're doing things in this season that they haven't necessarily done a lot in the previous 2 seasons. Um, I do want to say that it looks like though that some of that money savings might be because Timothy Dalton is not going to be in as many episodes. Um, Spoiler on this, but his character is officially dead, but his ghost is still showing up. So you're probably going to see um, him in that form, and eventually he'll probably move on. But we're getting more character development of Cliff over these first 3 episodes with his daughter and his grandchild. Um, Jane is turning a corner in her character development, which is huge. Um, Larry gets kind of teased by the um, the negative energy, um, simply because he thinks that he's going to be able to live in his old form, um, but he's not going to be. So they simply go to space, and they they split apart briefly in the home of the oh, I'm forgetting what they call him. I think it's a negative man. I mean, that's what they call Larry, but he has that negative energy in him. Um, I think, yeah, we'll just call him Negative Man. But what essentially happens is you have a splitting apart. So you do get to see Matt Bomer as we know Matt Bomer to look, and he's enjoying this. He's then confronted face to face with the the burned version, the radioactive burned version of himself, and as he touches the face, he starts to get um, he starts to take on those characteristics again. So it's not a simple um, a simple fact like he thought it was going to be of he gets to live his life in that old form. Rita is continuing her growth and trying to control her elasticity, but at one point she starts to freak out in the house and she pulls up a potted tree in the dining room and actually steps into the pot and just melts down into it. And they carry her in a bag for probably half an episode or so. So it's they're starting to do more with special effects like that. This is going to be an interesting season. Um, I think a lot of it's going to be built around Niles and these characters getting the closure around his death and him probably trying to move on. But definitely watch it, and I'm going to turn this back over so that we can get this episode rolling on to the next topic. But Doom Patrol season 3, episodes 1 through 3, definitely worth a watch. Check them out. Um, it's interesting, even if you've listened to the spoilery aspect of this, to see how it all plays out. So let's get Tyler back here.
I'm back.
Yay!
Sweet. I can't wait to get into it. Like it's one of those I've been waiting to. I've been wanting to watch it this weekend as well, and I'm watching bits and pieces every chance I get because I really like the character's daughter. I've got the spoilers tag up. The Chief's daughter. And I'm just gonna go out and say it. Chief is the bad guy of season 1. It's not Mr. Nobody. It was Chief. Let's just be honest here. So,
Right.
Okay, let's get right into our news. Not a whole lot to talk about. We've got 3, but our last one is the Tudum, Netflix's showcase they did on Saturday. There's a lot of movies. There's a lot of TV shows. We're just going to kind of go through them all, and we'll stomp on things that are pertinent to us, but we want to give you all the news as we can. But our first one is Ewan McGregor says the Disney Plus Obi-Wan Kenobi series has officially finished filming. We're going to IGN.com by Logan Plant. After winning an Emmy for his role in Netflix's Houston, Variety asked Ewan McGregor for details of the upcoming Star Wars show. He confirmed that they are done filming, and he said thinks it will not disappoint. Quote, I think it's going to be good. I had a really good time making it and worked with some really wonderful people, McGregor said. He added that new technology made it a different experience than when he filmed the prequel trilogy. Obi-Wan is set to take place 10 years after the events of the prequel trilogy and follow McGregor's Obi-Wan as he hides on Tatooine after the fall of the Jedi Order. So we should be getting that. If it's done filming, I'm going to say either middle of the year next year or end of the year next year. So that's my guess. But some dates we do know, Chris. Batwoman Season 3 premieres Wednesday, October 13th, same night as Legends of Tomorrow, and it dropped a brand new trailer with Poison Ivy as the villain. And I'm all in. But now here's where the gist and the fun stuff is coming in. I am going to graphic.com, and this is all of our Tudum announcements. And I'm going to butcher this name, but I'm going to do my best. Kashidij Thakur writes this article. So first off, they showed off Red Notice. Netflix premiered an exclusive clip for the upcoming action comedy Heist film Red Notice, starring Dwayne Johnson, Gal Gadot, and Ryan Reynolds. Film is set to release on November 12th of this year. Sounds like a good film for us to review. Stranger Things was next with a Season 4 trailer called The Creel House. However, there's no official release date for the show. It just said 2022. Next was La Casa de Papel, Money Heist. Actor Alvaro Morte delivered an exclusive sneak peek coming from the final episodes of the hit series Money Heist. Ozark had a new first official look of Season 4. The Harder They Fall was an exclusive look behind the scenes of the upcoming Western film, starring actors like Jonathan Majors and Idris Elba. Gene Hughes, I'm assuming I pronounced that correctly. Netflix dropped an exclusive clip from Kanye West documentary. I'm going to be skipping that one. De Volta EOS 15 had a thing. Maldivas. Sex Education has been renewed for a Season 4. Through My Window had a release date of 2022. Dark Desire. Stop me anytime any of this sounds familiar you want to talk about, Chris, because there's quite a bit here. Bridgerton gets a Season 2. The Sandman, that's a lot of people have been talking about because that's from Neil Gaiman. Netflix has also revealed an exclusive first look at the long-awaited dark fantasy series The Sandman, based on the acclaimed comic book series. Cobra Kai had a new trailer, which will premiere on December 31st of this year for Season 4, and I am all in. And then, Chris, it's the announcement that I had to send to literally everybody that we talked about this movie with. Extraction 2 and Tyler is alive. We said it. We talked about it. We debated it. He is alive. Don't know how, but that was him standing at the side of the pool, putting money on it. But it is coming back. It is called Extraction 2. They didn't give a release date or anything. They just showed that Tyler was alive. So, really excited about that one. Bruise is the next one. Director and star Halle Berry offered fans the behind-the-scenes look of her upcoming film, Bruise, about a disgraced MMA fighter who finds her redemption in the cage and the courage to face her demons when her estranged son unexpectedly re-enters her life. Might check that one out. Arcane, this is the Netflix and Riot Games debuted the all-new trailer for the new League of Legends animated series. It comes out November 6th of this year. A show that I am looking very forward to here is Vikings Valhalla. This is the Viking spinoff from History Channel, and this is supposed to set 100 years after the original series. All in, baby. I can't wait. The Chestnut Man was next, adaptation of the internationally best-selling crime novel following the two detectives on the hunt for a serial killer. For some reason, no one asked for, they're bringing Tiger King 2 back, which will release on November 17th this year. Soy Georgina, Young, Famous, and African. Cowboy Bebop is a big one that a lot of people are talking about. Ahead of its release on November 19th, 2021, we got exclusive first look at the title sequence from the upcoming live-action adaptation of the beloved anime series. Murder Mystery 2, Emily in Paris, The Crown, Umbrella Academy got a little exclusive sneak peek behind the scenes for Season 3. They also answered fan burning questions about filming, on-set antics, and everything in between. I need to catch up and watch that one. For us, there's a good one here too. Army of Thieves. That's the prequel to Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead. It got a new trailer, and it is a 2.5 minutes, a long trailer for a movie that I didn't know I was going to enjoy so much. Colin in Black and White. This is a October 29, 2021. It's a drama series following Colin Kaepernick. Big Mouth, let's see, got a season 5, November 5th, 2021. Revealed teaser art for it. Inside Job, Don't Look Up, Enola Holmes 2. Star Millie Bobby Brown with co-star Louise Partridge confirmed that both will be reprising their roles. So Tewksbury will be back, in case you're wondering, Chris. I know it was on your mind as much as it was mine. So I'm glad he's back.
Yeah.
And here is
Yeah. And then this next one that Tyler has no interest in.
Oh, no interest whatsoever. And I watched so much on it. I may or may not have watched the trailer 3 or 4 times. No joke. Toss a coin to our growing Witcher universe. We can officially announce The Witcher Season 3, along with a second anime feature film and a new kids and family series set in the world of The Witcher. That will be only, Stella can only watch that show, nothing else going on in life. So they got renewed for Season 3 ahead of Season 2. So all in. And then we got the Witcher Blood Origin, wrapping up the Tudum event. Netflix dropped an exclusive first ever look behind the scenes of the epic prequel anime film. And that's not it. Streaming Giant also announced they would expand the franchise with a second anime feature film, which we talked about. And then they also had a trailer for the upcoming season. And let me tell you, I can't wait. This show's going to be so good. Like, it's just Henry Cavill. Everyone's really got the hots for Ryan Reynolds. It's Henry Cavill for me. And the releases this week, I got nothing for TV. Nothing at all for TV.
Nothing. No. All right, well, we're on to movies. I think we've already kind of covered this, but Tyler, did you watch anything outside of our
Nothing for me.
featured attraction? Yeah, I didn't either. Like I said, I kind of, the week got away from me. I ended up binging all of this last night anyway, um, so on to our movie review. This was a first time watch for me, as well as you, I think. And this was
Finally, we have a
Mom.
movie for your first time to watch.
A lot of the streaming stuff we watch, I've seen for the first time. So, but what did you think of Ma?
So, I was expecting a little bit more for this movie. I really was. Sorry, I'm sitting here going through putting it in my letterboxd here. And I was expecting, it started off really slow,
Uh-huh.
and did not get any better in the second act. Like, there was a little bit of some creepiness going on, so I was like, oh, okay. And then we got to the third act where things were supposed to pick up for me, and it kind of did in the last, 15, 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
And then it still fell flat. Like, the payoff for everything, what I didn't really enjoy. To me, I gave this one a D. My wife says, "Oh no, give that an F for me." She said, "I'm curious to see what Chris says, but give that an F for me." And this was her movie she picked, because we've all. I mean, even on Amazon where we watched it on, like, it had 4.5 stars on there. And coming out of it, I'm just like, I'm sure it was for some people. I mean, but it wasn't that good to me. Some of the kids' acting wasn't that great, and a lot of the characters I couldn't keep between each other of the kids group. But I was trying to figure out the story. I kind of figured out how the mom character, what happened to her. I kind of called that going into it. And then, but she did some crazy sick things to some of those people.
Yeah.
One of the characters, she, tied to a bed and did some things too. And we saw some things. I was like, we went there.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was a show, a movie.
Yeah, that scene in particular, I mean, he's lying there with a towel over him is all
Right.
that's over him, right? And you're like, all right, they're not gonna go there
Yeah.
because it's and they went there.
Yeah. That
You know,
was went there very fast. Like,
she picks up the towel some and she grabs it and she pretends like she's gonna chop it off.
yep. So I was like, oh.
And
No, I said, oh no, 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 no.
let's not do that.
Right.
But then she kills him anyway. I mean, it's
Right.
probably just as
Slowly.
brutal. It was actually a slower death because
Right.
she just slices his vein in his wrist. I liked it better than you. I think what I liked was I liked the way that they kind of wove some of the characters together with her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
That was obviously she was so protective of because of how her childhood went
Did
in
you see that
school,
coming at all?
especially.
Like that she had a daughter? And they kind of called it back from the beginning.
Not not initially, um, because like I said, I didn't even really pay attention to this when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
I saw some reviews of it back then, and I was like, I'll eventually get around to watching it. One of the things that dragged the movie down for me, and this goes back to what you were saying about it being so slow, for about half the movie, if not a little more, it seems like we get a couple scenes at the school,
Mm-hmm.
a scene or two at one of the kids' homes, usually Maggie's, which I thought was one of the better characters,
Yeah.
and then um, we get a scene or two at Ma's house, and then it just kind of cycles back.
Yeah. Just
It's like
rinse and repeat
we're
it.
in this loop. Yeah. And it was almost like you could have shortened, which it was still, I think, like an hour and
I think it was an hour and 40 minutes.
37
Yeah.
minutes.
Right around there.
So, yeah, something like that. They could have shortened it by about 10 minutes,
Yeah.
just cutting some of those scenes out and not dragging it out, or putting something different in
Mm-hmm.
there, which was an entire different problem. Is that, I felt like we didn't meet some of the characters that we should have met. They didn't play up enough about Maggie's mom,
Mm-hmm.
which was she was played by Jennifer Jason Leigh, about her being one of the kids that could have stopped it.
Right.
What happened to Sue Ellen or Sue Ann? Was it
Sue
Sue
Ann.
Ellen or Sue Ann? Sue Ann. Um, I feel like they kind of took notes of past horror films with stuff like Carrie and things like that, but they just didn't fully develop the past trauma to make us care
Right.
about why she's doing what she's doing. Um,
I felt like she just kind of snapped. Was the gist
yeah,
of it? Like just right there at the
and
end.
what made me I wanted more from the daughter too because obviously she's overprotective of her to the point that the daughter may not even be sick.
Right.
I mean, from everything that we don't know that she's actually sick and needs to be in that wheelchair. She can walk,
Right.
but we don't know that anything's actually wrong with her. And I wanted a little bit more development from them on the what triggered this, because obviously she's got a nice house,
Mm-hmm.
right? She's been married, or so she says. She had a job that she apparently kept for years before she suddenly just fell apart during the film. What caused it? What caused this snap? Was it the kids asking her to buy them liquor? Why would that cause her to snap?
Right. Did
You
she
know,
even?
it just
Was it her reading the van right there at the beginning of it, or because I mean that's what left her to Facebook stalking everybody was her
hmm
reading the security van, and I was
yeah.
like, okay, this is a little creepy, a little stalkerish, but
But I did like the way that they had her kind of towards the end when she has them all in her basement, and she's kind of doling out punishments. So
some
she's
some
got
a lot better than others.
yeah, well, like the the one black kid in the group, right?
Hmm.
She just paints white paint over his
Right.
face. And I think she says something like there can only be one of us
Yeah, there can only
or
be one of
something
us in a
like that.
group.
So she paints him white. And then oh, what was the girl? Not
Haley.
Maggie, but the other girl, Haley. She sews her lips shut.
That was. It's like
And
some
I'm
of
like,
these are just brutal. I
that's
mean,
fantastic.
yeah. I was like, that's
For
she's.
for a horror movie,
Yeah.
it was that was really well done. But then she kind of lets the others skate, right? Like she took the one dude's shirt off. Did she ever even do anything to
She
him?
ironed him. She put the
Oh, that's right.
iron
She
on
put
his
an
stomach.
iron on him.
So his skin was
Yeah.
too perfect. I was like, this kid's passed down. I mean, he's got the best. He's got the best out of all of them.
He never felt it. I mean, he did when he came to, but he was the one that the first night at the house, and this was one of those things where it's like, y'all kept going back, really?
Mm-hmm.
The first night at the house when she's letting them drink in the basement, he gets smart with her, and she pulls this revolver out and points it at him and makes him strip down butt naked.
Right.
And he's like got his hands over himself holding his junk, and she's just looking him up and down, and she starts laughing, and I'm just kidding. I found this when I moved into this house.
That don't even work.
And yeah, it's like you're like in your what she'd probably be about late 30s
Right.
in this, and these are teenagers in high school, and
There was yeah,
really?
there was some things going on in this movie. The
Yeah.
but the basement scene right at the end was, I felt like it was fun, and I felt like that they could have played that on a lot earlier and drug it out more, because there's more stuff that could have happened. And I'm pretty sure, not really spoilers here, but the one girl she knocks out with the oven with the iron, did she ever get rescued from the house? Because we see everybody else out on the lawn, and I didn't see her.
Oh, the preacher's kid.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
they just left her.
I
She's just
that
asleep.
was I see now I kind of want to go back and watch it. They just they just left her in the house.
Right,
It's like, oh, but it would kind of be perfect for that character because she's so forgettable,
right.
right? I mean, people are so used to her showing up at parties, pretending to be asleep so that she can say she was there,
Mm-hmm.
but that way she
Went
doesn't have to
home.
drink.
Yeah. What a
Uh,
movie. What's your grade for this one?
I actually gave this 3.5 stars,
Okay.
and I know that that's significantly higher than what you gave it. Um, but a lot of it had to do with that the last few minutes, and I did feel like the characters were set up well. As far as Ma, we got some good information in the flashbacks. The scene where she goes into this closet or whatever, and she's given who she thinks is Ben,
Mm-hmm.
who she ends up killing later, tied to the bed. She thinks it's Ben. She ends up giving a blowy to, and it's actually some other dude.
Right.
And Ben and a bunch of the people from the school are in the hallway waiting when she walks out of the room, and they all laugh at her. Flashbacks like that really set the character up well. I liked Allison Janney as her boss
Mm-hmm.
at the vet clinic.
She should have been
Um,
fired a long time ago.
yeah, yeah, I mean, every time she came around to see if she was doing her job, she was daydreaming. She was
Mm-hmm.
in this
Daydreaming or on the
thinking
phone
about
doing
something from
something.
the past. Yeah, Facebook stalking people.
Right.
Um, and I thought Jennifer Jason Leigh's character was really good. Although like I said, I wish they'd explored that more.
Right.
Um, because it would have focusing more than they did on the past trauma would have given you a reason to understand, even if you didn't support what Sue Ann was doing.
Right.
You would have at least understood it and been somewhat on her side. But the problem was, except for that one night when the one guy back talks her, the kids are fully justified in how they react to her. It's not like
Right.
they're being cruel to her the way that their parents were.
She was blowing their phones up.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's like
oh.
this is something that you should be keeping secret.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no way with that many kids going to these parties that no one says
How
something.
were there no cops called or anything like that at all? Like,
Yeah.
period.
And the one time there was, she shoots him in the back.
Yeah, several times. Oh, man, what a. I
And
I
then
mean,
no,
there could be
and
another one. I don't know if there ever will be, but there honestly could be another one. But that's with I think with a lot
they
of these
they
movies they set them up for that, just in case.
they could rip off of Halloween and call it Ma 2 the night she came home.
Right.
And it could be, everyone thought she was dead and she comes back to town 5 years later to
Right.
exact her revenge. Burns down the high school. Yeah. Um I I do want to watch it at least the end of it again to see
Hmm.
that final scene and see if the preacher's daughter does make it out because she's probably still on.
She's still in there burning.
Oh Lord. But yeah, not bad. Um, I would probably watch it again, just not right away.
Yeah.
A few years down the road. Next week we have a Tartan Asia Extreme release, Carved, um,
Was this one
which
of
is
yours?
subtitled. Yeah,
Okay.
this is subtitled "The Slip-Mouthed Woman."
Oh.
Um, so I don't think I've ever asked you. Do you care if a film has subtitles?
No, I watch everything with subtitles on.
Okay,
So
so this will be no problem then.
I just can focus
All
more
right,
on
on
it
to
that way.
our
I do it with TV shows. I do
yeah,
it with everything.
on to our movie news. Shang-Chi comes to Disney Plus on November the 12th, so mark your calendars.
It's a good one.
Although I do believe if you can get out to a theater, if you're comfortable going to a theater, this is one that's worth watching
Mm-hmm.
in the theaters. Definitely. Um, Fantastic Beast: The Secrets of Dumbledore releases April the 15th, 2022. So that is, um, I don't know. I don't know.
I still haven't seen the most recent one.
Af-
So
After booting Johnny Depp,
yeah, and with J.K. Rowling and all her transphobic comments and things like
yeah,
that.
yeah. I wonder how it'll do.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and our final bit of movie news um, comes from Entertainment Weekly. There have been other sources for this, but we're using the Entertainment Weekly source um, by Tyler Aquilina. Is
That's how I'll do it. I
that's
can yeah, that's how I
that
go with it.
Aquilina? Disney sues to keep full rights to Marvel characters, including Spider-Man, Black Widow, and more. It says Disney's headed to court in an attempt to retain full control over some of Marvel's most iconic characters. The studio filed a slew of lawsuits on Friday against the heirs of several writers and artists who are seeking to reclaim the copyrights to such characters as Spider-Man, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Black Widow, and Captain Marvel. The suits filed on behalf of Marvel Entertainment, which Disney owns, come in response to copyright termination notices filed earlier this year, seeking to return the rights to Marvel's characters to the authors who created them. Under U.S. copyright law, authors or their heirs may reclaim rights from publishers after a certain number of years. Now, if successful, these notices would allow Marvel to continue using the characters, but require the studio to share ownership and profits with the creators' heirs. Among those seeking termination are the estates of Marvel Comics legends Steve Ditko, co creator of Spider Man and Doctor Strange, Don Heck, co creator of Iron Man, Black Widow, and Hawkeye, Don Rico, co creator of Black Widow, and Gene Colan, co creator of Falcon, Captain Marvel, and Blade, as well as Larry Lieber, co creator of Iron Man, Thor, and Ant Man, and the younger brother of Stan Lee. All are being represented by intellectual property lawyer Mark Toberoff. who previously represented the heirs of Marvel comic book artist Jack Kirby and Superman creators Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster in similar cases. Um, Now, the argument comes from the attorney for Disney who had this to say: Marvel assigned Steve Ditko's stories to illustrate, had the right to exercise creative control over his contributions, and paid him a per page rate for his contributions. As a result, any contributions Steve Ditko made were at Marvel's insistence and expense. So,
So, to me, the biggest thing of this is if the creators win, so if Marvel doesn't win, that means in 2023 we don't get any more MCU. That's it.
it depends. So if the creators win, Marvel could still make all the movies that they plan to make, but they would have to share a greater profit with the estates of the artists and the writers. So in other words, instead of Disney keeping all that money, they would
Mm,
have to shave off a few million for over here, or a percentage of the box office, or how
right.
whatever agreement they come to.
Toys and everything else.
Right.
Hmm.
So
It's a tricky one, and one for sure to keep an eye on, because I mean that's a big part of of this podcast and of our fandom.
I see both sides of it.
Mm-hmm.
From a business perspective, these folks were working for the business. Every business you work for today has in their hiring agreement that if you manufacture, create anything that that business deals in, you know, it's their if it's done on their time, it's their property.
Right.
I mean, that's how it is. These people were specifically hired to do these things for this company. So it's a little difficult to see how they're going to win because you created this, you took this assignment knowing you were creating a character for this publisher. That publisher paid you.
Mm-hmm.
From the business perspective, it's end of transaction. We compensated you. We had no idea what this character was. I mean, there have been a ton of comic characters fail
Right.
and not catch on. These happen to hit, and they've made millions of dollars off of it. And while that sucks for the artist and the writer, Disney could probably also come out and say, we also have, especially for the really successful ones like Kirby and Stan Lee and so forth, we have made clear who created these. We've never shied away and said these are Marvel creations. We've said this character was created by Jack Kirby.
Well, that's
It's in
even
the credits.
right. I mean, it's the same thing for like your DC shows, like Superman and Lois. Superman created by Joe
Harry Schuster.
Shuster. Yeah, I mean they put on everything you watch. Smallville, Superman and Lois. But I mean, it's the same thing with Shang-Chi. They put, granted, it's towards the end of the credits, but they do put the creators that created them in there. So
Uh-huh.
as created
Yeah.
by, so
But I do see the issue from the estates is they're looking at it going, you're making all this money.
right.
And at the time, who knows how little they were paid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of these characters going way back, they may have compensated them, you know, to what in today's money would be less than $20,000,
Right.
all in. So, but that's what you sign up for
Mm-hmm.
when you create something and you're paid by somebody else to do it. You kind of relinquish that. So I don't know. I kind of feel like they're not going. The creators' estates will not win the lawsuit, but I think this is a chance for Disney to say, we're not acknowledging that these are monies that you have a right to, but as a thank you for what they did, we will pay this much per film to each creator's estate
Right.
and have a flat fee. And if they still say that they're taking them to court, then it makes the estates look bad. It makes them look
Yeah.
greedy.
And Marvel just gonna say, hey, we tried doing
We
what we
made an
thought.
offer.
Right.
Yeah, we made an offer we didn't have to make, and they chose to pursue legal action, so we're no longer obligated to do anything.
Right. So we'll see
Um,
how it pans out.
yeah. Also this week we have one release, Venom: Let There Be Carnage
So I'm
in
so
cinemas
excited.
October 1st.
Like the closer and closer we
Can you
get to
hide
it,
it?
more and more I get excited.
So I did read something interesting, and I want to just kind of work this in real quick and talk about this. I don't think we brought this up on the show before, but I read an article, and I wish I could remember who it was from, that said basically, if you're a MCU fan, you should be hoping that Venom and Morbius and some of these other movies tank, because apparently Sony is in financial, they're not in trouble,
Right.
but they're struggling, and if these movies don't do well, they may sell the rights back to Marvel,
Mm.
and then these characters can be brought into the MCU properly. Whereas otherwise, Sony will just keep them because they're
Because
helping them
they're making money on them.
stay afloat.
Yeah. See, and that's hard because I want to go see it this weekend coming up, and I would love to see MCU do these characters all together, but Spider-Man is also supposedly coming back to Sony after this December. After this movie, so I'm curious. And there's also people saying that the Venom and Spider-Man movies are linked, and that's why like Venom got pushed up a little bit more instead of pushed back, so to get more eyes to see it. Because there are some people, I think BD is even trying to say there's a connection, but not like he's suggesting there's like not confirming that there's a connection to it, but he's suggesting there is one. He said because if Venom got delayed, then that was a for sure that Spider-Man would be delayed. And he said that multiple times, and this might just be putting, a question mark to a T over here somewhere. But I'm seeing a lot of people say that, and if it's delayed, like they're going to delay Spider-Man. But I'm like, why would they? Because they're two different properties, so why would they delay it? So maybe there's a connection there somewhere, because we know the Morbius movie has Vulture in it from Homecoming. So could these characters be connected? I don't know. I'm curious, but I'm really excited. I liked the first one. I mean, I didn't like fall in love with it, but I like, because these films, the Venom and this one, feels like an early 2000s Sam Raimi Spider-Man films, and
Yeah.
I don't know, a little nostalgic for them. And I like them, so
Yeah, I'm I'm kind of OCD about some of this stuff because Marvel has their way of doing it, right?
right.
They have their universe laid out. And I understand having to bring, and don't get me wrong, Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand it's like, well, he's really great in the role. People love him in it. We're just going to fold that in. But I hate that because that's not the way you would normally introduce Deadpool.
Correct.
And so you're bringing him into the MCU in some kind of haphazard way. I don't want that. Bring him in naturally. You need to introduce Wolverine first,
Mm-hmm.
right? You've got to bring the New Mutants
Yeah,
in.
get the mutants going, so it makes a little bit more
Yeah,
sense.
then bring Deadpool in. Otherwise, it's just like you're shoehorning this character in, and it's not really MCU. They can call it that if they want, but it's not. So it, they could do what they're doing with Jessica Jones, and or what they're rumored to be doing with Jessica Jones or Daredevil. When we reported, they had said um, if the characters are brought back into the MCU, it will be with different backstories
Right.
than the Netflix shows. That's fine. But to just bring it in and say, oh, all that happened on this other company's watch is canon.
Right.
No, it's not.
When it's not aligning to the vision and everything else. So
Right.
with the 15-year plan that Kevin Feige's got going on. So gaming wise, I know we had a lot of releases last week. I did not get to play the one game I said I was going to, but I did play Death Stranding Director's Cut, maybe an hour and a half on Friday morning. And in true Hideo Kojima fashion, it is trippy. The story it's gripped me. I just been really not to play. I've just been so busy all weekend. But it's definitely a Hideo Kojima game, very narrative driven. It's almost like watching a movie and playing the game. Great visuals. I want to know what's going on. So apparently there is which I mean the original game came out last year, or 2 years ago, 2019, and so like I'm just stay away from spoilers, but I'm also keeping on track of everything. So it's good. I haven't played hardly any Destiny either. But have you tried it? Have you played anything else? Anything fun? Anything new?
Just my normal stuff, just my daily objectives on my other games.
Oh, I feel that. I really feel that. So the one news story here, that Nintendo Direct had a surprise drop this week on Thursday, and I'm going to Polygon.com, and we've got the 10 biggest announcements for this one by Ryan Gilliam. First one was Kirby in the Forgotten Lands is a Kirby's post-apocalyptic adventure. It's one of the only new games announced at the Nintendo Direct, and it's taking Kirby into a new genre. Traditionally a 2D hero, Kirby will be able to explore a post-apocalyptic world in 3D. He'll still devour enemies and possess their powers, just in a more 3D space. Kirby's latest adventure will launch on the Nintendo Switch in spring 2022. We got a Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pass, adds new content including Nintendo 64 games. This is the biggest one, I think, that got the internet going ablaze, was the Mario movie is coming out holiday 22, but that's not what got everybody. It's supposed to be an animated film. So here we go. We got some, I don't know if you saw any of these as you were going throughout the week, but it's a doozy. So let's start off with Mario. Chris Pratt will be playing Mario. Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach, Charlie Day as Luigi, Jack Black as Bowser, Keegan-Michael Key will play Toad, and Seth Rogen will even appear as Donkey Kong. Now, Mario's longtime voice actor Charles Martinet will also appear in the movie in various cameo roles. But how much of a slap to the face do you have to be? Oh, hey Charles, I know you've been in for decades. You've been the voice of Mario. Well, we're bringing in this Hollywood actor to play him, just for the Western audience. And I'm like, oh, that's a kick. You know what I mean? That's not okay. But
we still want you to be in it.
Yeah,
we'll have you
just
do
little just for a couple roles, just throughout the movie. Bayonetta 3 got a re-reveal trailer. Splatoon 3 sees the return of the Mammalians. Monster Hunter Rise is getting an expansion. Chocobo GP is Final Fantasy's new kart racer. Castlevania Advanced Collection is out today. ActRaiser Renaissance is a remake of the classic, also out today. Animal Crossing New Horizons and Smash Bros. Ultimate are getting their own directs. The Smash Bros. Ultimate will be the last character for the game to be released, and that will conclude every single character out there, period. And that's on October 5th. I'll be paying attention to it just because I want to see who it is, because there's a lot of rumors. It could be a big Halo, it could be Master Chief, it could be someone from Xbox, or Sora. So we'll see. There's a whole bunch of people it could be.
Yeah.
And then notable new releases this week: New World, the new MMORPG, comes out on PC September 28th. Outer Wilds: Echoes of the Eye DLC for PC, PS4, Xbox come out September 28th. And then Hot Wheels Unleashed comes out September 30th for everything. It looks like a fun game. But guys, thank you so much. That was this week's episode of the NerdWide podcast. Don't forget to share all of your favorite social media platforms. Don't forget to rate and review this podcast on your favorite social media, your favorite podcasting service. If you can follow us on social media, you can follow us at nerd_wide, me at Ty_Haynes, and Chris at MavTN7. As always, this has been this week's episode of the NerdWide Podcast, and we cannot wait to see you next week, and we'll see how far I get on Doom Patrol. No promises, but I could be caught up. Have a good week, everybody.